Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the life of one of history's most iconic figures, Alexander the Great. Now, you might think you know his story, the valiant conqueror, undefeated in battle, who carved out an empire stretching from Greece to India. But what if I told you that much of what we think we know about Alexander is shrouded in myth and misconception? That's right, folks. History isn't always black and white. So, buckle up, because over the next few minutes we're going on a journey through time, using the lens of modern scholarship and a healthy dose of skepticism to debunk 5 shocking misbeliefs about Alexander the Great. You won't want to miss this. Alright, let's kick things off with a real humdinger of a myth. The claim that Alexander was the son, not of King Philip II of Macedon, but of Zeus himself, the king of the gods. I mean, talk about an epic origin story, right? Now, this tale wasn't just some campfire story. It was propagated by Alexander and his court, especially after his visit to the Oracle of Siwa in Egypt. Imagine this. Alexander, just a young man leading an army, stands before the oracle, deep in the Egyptian desert. The oracle, shrouded in mystery, proclaims him to be the son of Zeus. Ancient sources like Plutarch and Arrian, they ate this story up, writing about it as if it was gospel. But let's be real, folks. Claiming divine parentage was practically a hobby for ambitious rulers back then. Think about it. If you're trying to conquer the known world, it doesn't hurt to have the most powerful god on your side, right? By aligning himself with Zeus, Alexander wasn't just boosting his ego, he was solidifying his authority, intimidating his rivals, and basically saying, "Hey, I'm not just any king, I've got divine backing." Alexander took to portraying himself on coins with the horns of Ammon, a symbol of divinity associated with Zeus. He knew the power of imagery, of controlling the narrative, but modern historians, folks like Mary Beard, they're not buying it. They argue that these claims of divine lineage were common among rulers seeking to legitimize their rule. Alright, let's talk about another persistent myth surrounding Alexander, the idea that he was completely undefeated in battle. The image of Alexander as the invincible general, cutting through enemy lines like a hot knife through butter, it's an image that's captured imaginations for centuries. And sure, the historical record shows that Alexander won every major battle he personally commanded. But undefeated? Not so fast. While Alexander might have emerged victorious in every recorded battle, that doesn't mean he didn't face his fair share of close calls. Take the Battle of the Persian Gates, for example. Alexander's forces were met with fierce resistance from the Persian commander Ariobarzanes, who used the terrain to his advantage, nearly stopping Alexander in his tracks. And then there's Alexander's campaign in India, where his army, exhausted from years of campaigning, was pushed to its absolute limit. They faced war elephants, scorching deserts, and unfamiliar fighting tactics. These were not easy victories. And thousands more were sold into slavery. Chapter 4. The Poison Plot. Now, let's talk about Alexander's death, because even in death, the man was surrounded by intrigue and conspiracy theories. For centuries, the popular belief was that Alexander, at the height of his power, was taken down by a sinister plot. Poisoning. It's a juicy story, right? The great conqueror, felled by treachery in his inner circle. But like many historical mysteries, the truth might be a lot less dramatic. Modern medical experts, they've taken a look at the historical accounts of Alexander's final days, and they've arrived at a different conclusion. It wasn't poison that killed Alexander, but something far more mundane, likely a fever or infection. Think about it. Alexander's empire stretched across vast distances, encompassing a wide range of climates and environments. He was constantly on the move, exposed to the elements, and surrounded by unsanitary conditions, the perfect breeding ground for disease. Ancient sources like Justin's Epitome, they describe Alexander suffering from a prolonged illness, with symptoms like fever, chills, and abdominal pain, all consistent with diseases like typhoid or malaria, which were rampant in the ancient world. Chapter 5. The Lost Tomb of Alexander. And finally, let's talk about one of history's most enduring mysteries, the location of Alexander the Great's tomb. Imagine it, a magnificent mausoleum fit for a king filled with treasures and wonders beyond imagination, the final resting place of a legend. But here's the thing, we have no idea where it is. Alexander's tomb, once a grand monument in the city of Alexandria, has been lost to history, swallowed by time and circumstance. Over the centuries, Alexandria has been ravaged by earthquakes, fires, and political upheavals. The tomb, it likely fell victim to looting, neglect, and the relentless march of time. Some historians, they believe that the tomb might have been desecrated during the Roman conquest of Egypt, or perhaps dismantled and its treasures repurposed. Outgrow more than just a myth. So there you have it, 5 shocking misbeliefs about Alexander the Great debunked. It's amazing, isn't it, how even centuries later, figures like Alexander continue to fascinate and inspire us. But it's important to remember that history isn't just about memorizing names and dates, it's about understanding the past, questioning our assumptions, and separating fact from fiction. Alexander's story, like all history, is complex, full of triumphs and tragedies, brilliance and brutality. He was a product of his time, shaped by ambition, circumstance, and the beliefs of his era. What do you think about Alexander the Great? Did any of these historical misconceptions surprise you? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more mind-blowing explorations of history, science, and all the fascinating mysteries of our universe.